Transactional employees are always checking in to see if it's worth it for them anymore. They're always assessing, am I on track to meet my goals for my career, for what I want to do, for the money that I want to make? And if they're saying this ain't it anymore, the ROI is not there, I'm out. Okay, they'll start planning that exit. The non-transactional employees, they might check in to see like, okay, am I on track for what I want? But even when they see that they're not, they'll stay there. They're not going to leave so easily. They might not leave out of fear. They might have guilt, loyalty to organizations, and they even try to fix toxic environments. Let me see what I can do to make things better for everybody around here. Transactional employees will say no to things. If it's not going to make me more money, if it's not going to get me the recognition, if it's not going to help me move forward to, in my career in the way that I want, they're not doing it. And non-transactional employees, they say yes to everything because they want favor, because they're like, okay, I'll get a promotion. They are the ones who chase dangling carrots. Transactional employees document everything. They can tell you what they did, how they improved this, what they worked on. They can tell you everything. Everything is for a purpose, and they advocate for themselves with all of that information. Non-transactional employees, they just expect that people will see what they've done. Introverts struggle with the same thing, expecting people to see what you have done, see your contributions, and advocate on your behalf. People don't do this at work. You have to advocate for yourself. That's why I created a whole guide, a transformation guide for introverts, because I struggled many years in my career with this, and now I have absolutely no issue. I think transactional employees can handle change better in the workplace, and we all need to be better at managing change because everything is changing where the places where we work. But transactional folks ask different questions and respond in a different way. So they're like, okay, these changes are happening. Like, how does this impact my pay? How does this, impact my goals? How is this going to impact my workload? Because they're always thinking, again, is this worth it? They don't need everything to feel good at work. They just need everything at work to make sense. Whereas non-transactional employees have a harder time with changes that may happen at work. And they ask questions that are valid, but just are different. So when there are changes in the workplace, and change can be a lot of things, change in staff, leadership, processes, whatnot, non-transactional employees are more interested in the story behind the change. And again, that's valid, but that is what first comes to mind for them. Like, who decided to do this? Why is this happening? Like, what does this mean about how you feel about us, how you value us as a staff? So again, valid questions, but you can see the difference between what they would ask first versus what transactional people would ask first. There's even a difference in the way that people handle conflict when they're transactional versus non-transactional, like conflict in the workplace. So transactional people, look, they want to address things head on, might be more direct. They'll escalate if needed, but they don't take stuff personal. They're not like, oh, this person said something to me, all this happened. They don't take it personal. They're like, oh, that's a you issue. Okay, like, how can we move forward here? Whereas non-transactional people are a little bit more affected by things and do take a lot more things personally at work. You're just invested in a different way. You're more emotionally engaged, where transactional people emotionally tend to disengage. And a big one is just self-worth. Transactional employees, their worth is not tied to their job, to any company, to any specific position or title. Like, they just know who they are, and they can be who they are anywhere. And I think that non-transactional employees are more likely to have their identity be wrapped up in their job. They take praise and criticism, and that impacts how they feel. So if you say they're doing good, they feel good. If you say they're not doing well, then they can start to spiral and lose confidence. The transactional person is not going to lose confidence at work because they know who they are. So I think that, there isn't like a right way to be for everyone. I know what works for me, but you can be great either way. You just have to decide, like, what are you willing to endure, and how wrapped up do you want to get in your work, in every job that you have, and evaluate if the way you've been showing up, whether transactional or non-transactional, is that working for you.